So today's video is going to be, sorry, I just pet my dog. That was just smelling to see if I still smell like dog, but I'm literally about to wash my hands after this. Don't worry, I'm not gross, I promise. I just got home from work. What an intro, right? What an intro. So today's video is going to be yet another continuing series I am in the middle of. But in the last video that we just had, where I was continuing series that I'm in the middle of, I finished the When in Rome series and I continued the Glimmer Falls series, but now we are going to be finishing the Glimmer Falls series, so we are going to be reading these two physical books in this video, but we're also going to be reading a Libby Loan. So the first one is A Werewolf's Guide to Seducing a Vampire by Sarah Hawley, and as you guys know, this is the third and final book in the Glimmer Falls trilogy. As of right now, I don't think there's going to be any more books in this series because she hasn't announced anything. I saw on her Instagram that there was going to be one more installment in Glimmer Falls, but that was before this book came out, which would have been this book, obviously. So, I will let you guys know what I'm thinking because I have already started this already. I started the audiobook yesterday, so I've actually just been listening to the audiobook, but because I'm reading another book on my Kindle right now. But as soon as I finish that book, I'm going to be reading the rest of this one. And then the next one was actually supposed to be in the last video, but then, like I said, we ended up finishing the When in Rome series over this series, but we are going to be continuing the... Sorry, Siri loves to mess with me. We are going to be continuing the Rebel Ranch series by Lila Sage, and the second book is Swift and Saddled. We are going to be reading the second book in this, and I'm probably going to be reading this right after I finish the Hunger Games for the first time in my life. So after I finish the book I'm currently reading and A Werewolf's Guide to Seducing a Vampire, I will be picking up the Hunger Games, and I'm so excited. I'm going to vlog the entire thing, the entire experience. I will at least be on the third book by the time May 1st rolls around. Because I have a Libby loan for Sunrise on the Reaping, and it came through today, so I really just need to stop delaying the series because I knew as soon as my Libby loan came through, I knew there was no reason to justify putting off the series anymore. So this is the second book we're going to be reading, so we are going to be finishing the two physical books first before we get into my Libby loan. And I did mention this one in the last video as well, but we have The Bullet That Missed by Richard Osman. I really do want to read this in this video because I just like end up putting these books off for some reason because they're good, they're fun, but like the second one wasn't really that great. Even though I gave the first one 5 stars, it was kind of like a delusional 5 stars, I feel like. But I still loved it. I still loved the first one. The second one was not as good as the first one, though. But I keep on borrowing this book, like, every month. And I end up not getting to it. Because the last time I read one of these books was back in January. And I picked up the second book. So I really do want to pick up the third one. So that is going to be the third and final book in this video. So right now I am reading A Werewolf's Guide to Seducing a Vampire. I just hit page 108 in the audiobook, so I'm on chapter 11, and so far this is so fucking funny. I thought I was going to be done with romances and rom-coms right now because I know I put a shit ton on my TBR this month, but if I didn't get to any other books except for these and finishing the When in Rome series, that was pretty much my goal this month, and reading new releases. Honestly, that was the April TBR goal, was to finish this series and finish the When in Rome series, and I'm almost done with this series, and I'm so happy because this series has been on my TBR for so long, you guys. I mean, this one, like I said, has been on my TBR for less time than the first two because the first two came out in like 2023. This one came out in August of 2024. But honestly, I wish I would have read this during my birthday because this would have been so much better than the book that I actually did pick to read for my birthday last year. But this year should be even better because it's a new release that's literally coming out, I think, like 2 days before my birthday, and I literally can't wait to read it. I have to read the first book first. I still haven't read it yet, but it's only one book is out so far, and I was supposed to read it last year, but it is what it is. So, we're definitely going to be reading, continuing this, and so far this is hilarious. So, this is about a werewolf named Ben and a vampire named Eleanor, and basically, Ben is like a botanist. Like, he sells plants, he loves plants, that's all he does, but he's also a werewolf that knits. When the way that they continuously make jokes about his knitting is literally hilarious. Like, it's not in a offensive way, and he's a werewolf that knits that has anxiety. Like, it's just so funny. And again, I'm not making poking fun at people with anxiety or anything, but like, it's just funny when supernatural beings still have like these human traits, and it's just hilarious. So he ends up accidentally summoning a vampire on eBay. It's just so funny. And she is trapped in like this orb for 6 centuries. And now it's basically like the same plot of the first two, except this is a werewolf and a vampire. And so far, this one, I think I like this one even more than the second book because, you know, I was kind of getting a little bit over the witchy vibe. So I'm glad it's a werewolf and a vampire. And like, I kind of needed something with vampires in it because I really haven't read much of any vampire books this year. So I'm missing my vampires. So far, this is hysterical. And, you know, he's trying to figure out how to break her curse. She's bound to this witch and also she has to follow any command that somebody gives her. That's how her curse works. So far, this is hilarious. And that's basically what's going on. She's stuck in the human world now. Well, she's not stuck. She just, like, needs to break free of her curse. And, like, if this witch gives her a command to kill someone, she has to do it. So basically, she's a killer for this witch. So far, it's been hilarious. When she's been learning about the internet and stuff, I'm just dying. So it's just like, these books are just so fucking funny. And then, of course, like I said, we have Swift and Saddled. So hopefully I'll be able to get to this right after I'm done with Mockingjay. I am just worried about reading The Hunger Games, you guys. Like, I have been putting it off for so long, ever since I became such an avid reader, that people say once you read these books, you can go into, like, probably, like, the worst reading slump of your whole life. Because, you know, I mean, I don't think I'm going to be in, like, a 12-year reading slump like Emmy Rossum said. That would be insane. But I think I think this will be the absolute perfect book to pick up after I finish Mockingjay. So hopefully I won't be fucking destroyed. I am planning on binging the series from the 26th to the 2nd. And then by that time, we should be ready to pick up this book. I'm just nervous, y'all. I'm just nervous. And then The Bullet That Missed, I honestly was not planning on picking up until after I finished Sunrise on the Reaping, because after I finished Swift and Saddled, then I was going to do The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes and then Sunrise on the Reaping. And I heard that Sunrise on the Reaping is probably the saddest book in the entire series. But what's also crazy is that The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes is actually the longest book in the series, because I was looking at the physical copies in Barnes yesterday, because I also borrowed The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes on Libby because I don't need to own it. Because I have the original hardbacks from my mom of the original trilogy. Even she read them, okay? And she pushed me constantly to read them when I was growing up. But like I said, I was not an avid reader then. So hopefully we'll be able to read The Bullet That Missed right after we finish Mockingjay. I mean, not Mockingjay. Sunrise on the Reaping. I should have time. I'm not really sure. I might have to push that to later in the month. I'm not really sure when I'm going to be able to read it. Maybe we'll read that along with Swift and Saddled, like, after we finish Mockingjay, because I might need to take a break. But then that means that my Sunrise on the Reaping loan is going to expire, and I don't want that to happen. Hopefully I'll be able to extend it. I don't know. But I have to read it by the 8th. And I was thinking about putting it on hold for another week, but I'm like, no, I really want to read it by the 7th. So, yeah. That's really like the only thing that's really pushing me to read it, but also I could check my local library and see if they have Sunrise on the Reaping, and I can just check it out at my library rather than worrying about the Libby loan. So I was thinking about doing that because if I want to read other books on my TBR after the 2nd, like after Swift and Saddled, I want to read The Bullet That Missed, then I could read and do those two to take a break from the Hunger Games, and then the 5th and the 6th and the 7th and the 8th. Would that work? Wait, hold on. If I finish Mockingjay by the 2nd, then the 3rd and the 4th I would be reading Swift and Saddled, and then The Bullet That Missed. 3rd and the 4th. The 5th and the 6th, and then the 7th and the 8th I would be reading The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, and then the 9th and the 10th I would be reading Sunrise on the Reaping. And then after the 10th, by the 10th, I have to read A Curse Carved in Bone, because that's a new release. So, and that's the second book from A Fate Inked in Blood, which we could just put in this video, but that would just be finishing a duology. So, yeah, I don't know. And then after that, I wanted to pick up an arc. I wanted to pick up Catherine Center's new book, The Love Haters. So we're going to see. Let me just tell you my entire reading schedule. But I really did not want to move this book into May. I'm like, I am dying to finish this series. And also, I don't want one more book hanging over my head to finish this. And I just needed something to make me laugh anyway. Because actually, the last 2 books that I read, I think they both made me cry. Well, Great Big Beautiful Life, I just finished it yesterday and it made me cry. But it's like, it was one of my favorite Emily Henry books. So, let me see. Actually, no. Well, Kiss of the Basilisk made me cry, and then I went into Practice Makes Perfect, and then Great Big Beautiful Life. So, yeah, that's it. All right, we're going to go, and I will update you guys when I'm halfway through this, or probably more than that, but so far I'm having a great time. So, bye. Hey there, guys. So I wanted to give you guys an update on where I'm at in A Werewolf's Guide to Seducing a Vampire by Sarah Hawley. It's pretty dark because my other bulb burnt out a couple days ago, and I still haven't replaced it. So I'm at I'm on page 334. So I'm like well over like 80% of the way through. So I'm actually pretty far in. Actually this brightness is annoying me. Too bright. Alright, that's too dark. Okay, that's better. This book gives me serious Bride vibes by Ali Hazelwood, but so much better. Like, just because I love how everybody acted like Bride was some like godsend concept, because it's not like a paranormal. Actually, this book came out after Bride in August of 2024. So they both came out in 2024. I just realized that. But this is just so much funnier. You care about the characters way more. I feel like with Bride, it just tried to be something bigger that it really wasn't. And I just got so bored with it. This is just so much more fun. It's so funny. Oh my god, it's fucking hilarious. I think this one I like a lot more than the second book. I think this one is going to be my second favorite in the series. It still doesn't beat the first one, because the first one was just perfection to me. I adored that book. But this one, I just love Ben's like insecurities about being a werewolf, and also Eleanor as well. She is a confident, sexy badass, but also she has her insecurities too about whether or not she can trust Ben, because she's still under her curse. And basically, like, not much else has happened, but that, these books aren't really like about, even though they still have really good plots, it's more so about like how, they develop their relationships. And I really love that like Sarah Hawley like never loses sight of like, sorry, my leg is itchy, about like the main theme that it's supposed to be about romance. And sometimes you know, like I said, I compared these books to like the X-Hex series by Aaron Sterling. That one like really lost its momentum after like the third book came out. I was like, okay, this series like just needs to end. With this, they didn't feel insta lovey. I mean, even though the first one could be considered insta love, that's insta love done right because they made it sound like more so that they were fated to be together. And I don't mind like the fated kind of trope. I actually just finished Amid Clouds and Bones this morning, which was about fated fae mates, but like also when they're fated and they're not human, it makes a little bit more sense to me than like when they were just human and they're like, we're fated to be together. I'm like, no, that it doesn't really work that way, honey. Also, I'm surprised that Ben hasn't imprinted Eleanor yet, but that's probably going to happen towards the end because that's usually like a werewolf trait on how they but he's already called her his mate, so maybe that's him imprinting on her already. Um but basically they're still trying to break her curse, and Ben's sister's running for mayor right now because Caladia Cunnington's mother always runs unopposed to be mayor every year. And well, or like every couple of years. I don't know how often mayors are elected. Let me look it up. But yeah, it's just been such a blast. And also, there was like this one part with Eleanor. So Ben, you know, has to set up like certain campaign events to help his sister run for mayor. And he like agrees to like this event for like with his store to like open, not a store opening, like to get more customers in. I don't know what kind of opening it was. It was like a place where like he wanted people to gather. I think it was like a coffee shop. I can't remember. But basically it's great, right? Um he agrees to let Eleanor perform to his sister. And he's like, yeah, yeah. But he was like zoning out when he was on the phone. So then he was like, oh my God, what did I just do? Eleanor's going to perform. What the hell is she going to do? Because, you know, she's a 600-year-old vampire. So, she performs like this super interpretive, like abstract performance. And then like the critics and the audience love it, even though it was like so bizarre. It was like this artsy fartsy kind of like concept about life and death, and it was just so fucking funny the way that it was written. And I just ate it up. So yeah, these books are just so funny. Right now Ben and Eleanor, you know, are getting more connected, but it's just I enjoy these so much. So I'll definitely check in with you guys more so when we finish it. I'm just tired right now because it's like 2 in the morning. So bye. So hey there guys, so I just wanted to let you guys know that I did finish the first book that we read in this video, which is A Werewolf's Guide to Seducing a Vampire by Sarah Hawley. So this is now completing the Glimmer Falls series. So this was the third and final book. According to Sarah Hawley's Instagram, there has not been any other books announced in this series at this current point in time. I don't think she's going to be continuing this, or if she does, like, maybe it's going to be, like, way further down the line. But as of right now, this series is complete, and I'm seriously so happy about this series. But honestly, I really am so happy that I finally completed this series. Like I said, this series has been in my TBR for so long. This book came out back in August, and the other two, August of 2024, and then the other two came out I think in like 2023. So this was just so much fun, you guys. And like I said, these books are not like too involved with the plot. They're just such a fun, warm, fuzzy time. So I gave this a 4.5 stars out of 5. I did like this a lot more than the second book. So out of the whole series, the first book was still my favorite, which was what the hell was it called? Oh my god, a witch's guide to fake dating a demon. I gave it a 5 star. And then the second book, A Demon's Guide to Wooing a Witch, I gave it a 4 star, and that was in my last continuing series I'm in the middle of video. But I knew I wanted to start with this book in this video because I'm like, I really did not, like I said, want to carry this over to May and have to figure out when I'm gonna have time to read it. I'm like, I just want to read it now. And again, it was on my April TBR, so I'm so happy that I finally completed this series. This book, like I said, is so much better than Bride by Ali Hazelwood. I really don't understand like the Ali Hazelwood hype at this point, but meanwhile, I am going to read all of her books still. I only have 2 left, which is Love on the Brain and her newest release, which isn't even out yet. It comes out like, I think the 3rd week of May, called Problematic Summer Romance. But honestly, I don't know why. I feel like there's like one thing about Ali Hazelwood books that gets so hyped up, like the whole nodding thing about a werewolf and a vampire. But I mean, hold on, a werewolf and a vampire. But honestly, these characters had so much more depth. I really, really fell in love with Ben's character. I think he might be my favorite character that Sarah Hawley has ever written in this series. I just adored him. I thought it was just so funny with him being an insecure werewolf with anxiety. I just thought that concept was hysterical. And also, like, you really felt like Ben's intrusive thoughts were, he even, like, said something in this book that had him contemplating that he didn't want to exist anymore. And I was like, okay, we got real dark with Ben's character, but, like, I'm really glad that she deep dived into Ben's character. And then with Eleanor, she had a lot of depth as well, being like, she wasn't sure who she could trust because she always thought that like people wanted to order her around because of her curse. Why is there a bit of the Target sticker still left on that? But I also love these covers. But yeah, I'm definitely 100% keeping this series. I thought that this was probably the best witch series that I've read so far, like way better than the X-Hex series, and again, way better than Bride. I don't even know if I'm going to read the second book, to be honest, because I really did dislike the first book, but I don't know what it is about Ali Hazelwood books that makes me want to read all of her books. I want to know what all the hype is about, okay? Sue me. But anyway, this was adorable, so Ben kept on trying to pursue to be able to break Eleanor's curse. And the witch's name is Isabel. And Isobel, I think it is. It's ISO. I'm just checking my phone to see when the hell my friend is going to hit me up because I don't know what the hell I'm doing today. But if I don't know within like 20 or 30 minutes time, I'm just going to go run errands that I need to run because I actually really do need to go to Target and I want to go to the library to check if Sunrise on the Reaping is available at my local library rather than being pressured to read it on Libby. I know I just got my loan, but I'm also kind of curious whether or not my library has a copy available. So I'm a bit curious. So anyway, I really adored this, but with Isabel, she has Eleanor trapped in like a, like I said, a curse that Ben has to break, and Ben basically wants to help his sister run for mayor. So that's the whole concept of this book pretty much. But like the way that Sarah Hawley like incorporates humor with like, real human issues is hilarious, but also she like really gets her message across about like anxiety or like insecurities and stuff like that. And I just eat it up. But also Isabel, is a immortal that pretty much doesn't have any friends because, like, that's, like, the whole contemplation about immortality is that it's, even though humans do want to live forever, it can get incredibly lonely when, like, all of your past friends and family aren't around anymore. And, she basically kept, Eleanor under her curse because she was lonely. But, like, the way that Isabel, like, kind of thought about it was pretty delusional and also very abusive towards Eleanor. So that's why she didn't want to break her curse, because then she would be so lonely without her. But the way that they go about doing it was actually really, really funny. They end up like kidnapping Isabel, and Ben ends up, kidnapping her for Eleanor so they can break her curse. But yeah, it was great. I had such a fun time. So I cannot wait to read Sarah Hawley's other 2 books. I really do want to read her fantasy book, which is called Servant on Earth. I've also heard great things about that book as well. I've seen really high reviews for it. And the second book comes out later this year. I think it comes out in November as well. There's going to be a ton of November releases this month. In November. So I think besides May, I think November is like the biggest new release month, especially for romantices, because usually the romantices come out in November, and there's just going to be so many new releases in November, but we don't have to worry about that right now when we have to worry about May's new releases, because that comes up a lot sooner, obviously. So yeah, anyway, I don't know when I'm going to be picking up the next book that I read in this series, but honestly, the main goal was just to finish this series. So again, I'm just so happy that I finished it, and then we are going to be going into the Hunger Games now, and that is going to be consuming my life the next 2 weeks. So hopefully we can pick up Swift and Saddled after we finish Mockingjay, which is supposed to be the plan, because I feel like the series is going to destroy me, but I'm hoping, because I've seen the movies, that it won't destroy me as much, because I kind of know what happens, but I don't know. We're going to have to see. I feel like I'm going to be eating my words. So yeah, Swift and Saddled is going to be the next one we pick up, unless we start listening to The Bullet That Missed, because I also put a hold on the audiobook, so I might just end up listening to it over reading it, even though I keep on putting it on hold for the ebook, but then somebody is waiting for a copy of the ebook. So I'm like, and my loan is due in a week, and I'm definitely not going to be reading it this week at all. I'm just going to be reading the Hunger Games trilogy, so I'm probably just going to end up listening to it. So yeah, that's it. We will continue when I pick up Swift and Saddled. So bye. Okay, so hey there, guys. So I wanted to let you guys know that I already started Swift and Saddled by Lila Sage. I almost forgot to make a check-in that I started this book, but I started this book actually last night after I finished Mockingjay, so I also finished my Hunger Games reading vlog as well. So I wanted something really light and honestly really mindless. So right now I'm actually in the middle of chapter 20. I'm actually listening to the audiobook now. I did read the first 120 pages of this physically, so I already got 120 pages in. But I wanted to switch to the audiobook because I actually forgot that I had an Everand credit for May. So then I just used it to get the audiobook, because I don't have any listening hours left on Spotify, so I couldn't get it on there. And also at the library, this book has a 10-week wait for the audiobook. So I'm like, I'm not waiting two months to get the audiobook for something that's 285 pages. And honestly, I really did want to read all of this physically. But you guys, this book is so cringe. This is like a little bit torturous to get through. I'm not gonna lie. This is like pretty poor writing. And it's just so cringe. So basically, this one is about Ada and Wes. And basically, like, each one is where, like, the woman comes to town. She's new in town. And then she ends up falling in love with one of the brothers, or one of the best friends, or I think he's his best friend's, or he's just his Gus's best friend, is I think. I don't think he's his brother. Yeah, I think so. I'm not really sure, because like I honestly don't really care that much, but honestly, I want to get through this one so I can get to Lost and Lassoed and Wild and Wrangled, because I heard Lost and Lassoed is like the best book, but I honestly think this book is more cringe than the first one. The first one had like some really cute moments in it that made it a little bit more readable, but at least this one is like the shortest, so I only have less than like 100 pages left basically after I finish this chapter. But I don't know, it's like pretty cringe, but I'm like pretty far into it already, so I'm just gonna listen to the audiobook some more because I have some things to do. I'm not going anywhere today. I didn't even put on makeup. I don't want to do anything today. So, well, I do have stuff to do. I just had a lot of stuff to take care of at home. Um, and I literally have plans the next 5 days. So I was like, I really don't feel like going anywhere today. So did some laundry, reading this book, edited my video, and now I need to make some like doctor's appointments that I've been putting off for a while. So I finally want to make them so I can do those next week. And maybe look for some jobs, because I need to do that too. But I will most likely finish this today because, again, it's super short. And honestly, I don't really want to spend the time reading this tomorrow. And then tomorrow, then I can devote, during the day, I can read The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which I already started yesterday. I started the audiobook because I also borrowed the audiobook from the library. So, yeah. There's really not much else to update on. It's feeling pretty insta-lovey right now. Like they're already, fucking and all of that. So, but again, we only have like 100 pages left. So at least like these books, I can say do get to the romance pretty quickly. So you don't really have like that much of a delay. And also like, again, it's just a super quick palate cleanser because, Hunger Games was pretty heavy. So I just needed something super light. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So I'll just check in with you guys when I'm done with it. And then I'm not sure when I'm going to go into The Bullet That Missed. Probably not for another week or two at least, because I am probably going to be continuing this series first over the Thursday Murder Club series. But also then really like the only other books that I have to like finish a series after Lost and Lassoed would be Wild and Wrangled, and then I would just have the last book in the Thursday Murder Club series, which is The Last Devil to Die. So I don't think I'm going to make another one of these videos after I finish The Bullet That Missed, but it's been really fun like reading three books in each video. But I don't think I'm going to have 3 more books to continue a series with when I read Lost and Lassoed, unless I include Sunrise on the Reaping. That would be continuing a series I'm in the middle of, but honestly, there's really no other ones besides the last book in the Thursday Murder Club series. So, and I wasn't really intending on reading that anytime soon, so, and honestly, like really the only other series I'm in the middle of would be the Go Hex Yourself series. I forget what it's called, but I only read those during Halloween, and I'm going to read the second one during Halloween, so that's not really a huge deal. But yeah, I think after I read Lost and Lassoed, then I'm just going to finish off the Rebel Ranch series, and then I really don't have any other series I'm really in the middle of, besides having the last book in Rebel Ranch and the last book in the Thursday Murder Club series after this. Like, I already finished this series. Yeah, I really don't have much. So, because I'm updating my list that I finished the Glimmer Falls series. I'm not really a person that is in the middle of a bunch of series. I don't like doing that unless it's like a romance series. And like I said, like I don't have to binge a romance series completely. I like to space them out a little bit because I can get a little sick of it. But like with fantasy series, I usually have to binge them all the way through, because I love finding out what happens next in fantasy series. The only series that I'm currently in the middle of for fantasy series are all books that I'm waiting for to come out later this year. Like The Kiss of the Basilisk. Second book doesn't come out till November. The second book in Fear the Flames doesn't come out until November. The second book in Nightweaver doesn't come out until November. The second book in Quicksilver doesn't come out until November. So, like I said, besides May, November is probably going to be my biggest new release month. because we do have a few in June. I don't know how many we have in July. And then we have 3 in August, which I'm so excited for because that is my birthday month and 2 new releases come out with series I'm in the middle of as well. So again, those I don't count series I'm in the middle of if they're books that aren't even out yet because I'm already up to date because I've already read the first book and there's only one book out. So, and like the second book in A Fate Inked in Blood, the second book doesn't come out until May 13th. So that will be the next series that I'm continuing very soon. So honestly, after this and after I finish The Bullet That Missed, I'm mostly going to be concentrating on new releases and stuff. And after I finish the Rebel Ranch series, I'm just going to be reading my TBR and reading all the new releases that come out in May. That's why I didn't really put that many physical books that I own right now on my TBR for May. I only put 7, which is the Rebel Ranch series, and then just like 4 other books that I really do want to read, or just a book that I didn't get to last month. And also, this was on my April TBR, so I started it the last night of April, and I'm going to finish it today. So that's already progress on my April TBR books that I didn't get to. And then I think we only had like 3 that I didn't get to, which was The Bullet That Missed, Firefly Lane, and Angel Mage. So, and I'm going to be reading Firefly Lane later this month and The Bullet That Missed. So I will mostly be finishing my April TBR except for 1 book. So I think that's pretty damn good progress. So yeah, that's about it. I'm going to stop rambling and I'll let you guys know when I'm done with it. So bye. Okay, guys. So I finished with... Can I speak? Swift and Saddled by Lila Sage. No. No. This book was terrible. This book was terrible. I'm sorry. I'm giving it... I think I'm just gonna give it a 2 stars. I don't really rate books 1 star unless I absolutely hated it. But this was bad, you guys. Like, it was so insta-lovey, and basically, really nothing happened in this book. And what pissed me off the most was, the fact that, Wes's depression was kind of like, just the way that he commented about it in his head annoyed me. He's like, big sad man. Just like... It's just so stupid. Like, it's making it so stereotypical and not really, like, going into, like, his struggle with depression. Like, it just says, oh, I take antidepressants, and that was it. Like, there wasn't really that much of an internal kind of struggle with his depression. And I feel like if we would have gotten some of that, this probably could have been a 3 star, but honestly, like, I probably wouldn't have rated it any higher because the first book was a 3.25. I did enjoy that book more than this one. I thought that book was actually funny, and again, it had quite a few cringe moments, but also I think it was funnier. Like, honestly, this was just cringe, and like, really, there was nothing that was that funny. There was like 1 or 2 lines here and there that were cute, but honestly, I could not get over the insta-love. And Ada, like, she got away from an ex-husband that used to control her finances, pretty much. But also, like, she thought it was so controlling that she felt trapped in her... I'm just, like, I'm not trying to make fun of, like, these type of real life relationships, but the way that they made it sound made it almost feel like it was just not really getting to the issue of these problems. They just kind of said, you know, I felt trapped. And it's just like, I understand that they ended up leaning on each other and they ended up falling in love with each other. Like, I had no problem with that, but it was, again, it was just way too insta-lovey for me. So, like, literally, they had kissed one night at a bar, and then literally, the next time he meets her, he's, like, so obsessed with her, and then they already start dating, But like the first book was a little bit more fun because like, they had to hide their relationship from her brother. And I don't know, it just added a little bit more of a fun element to it. This was just like, okay, they fall in love, then they spend the rest of their lives together, and that's it. And like, that's what I wanted, was just like a quick, easy romance, and that's exactly what I got from this. So it did serve its purpose. And again, I wanted something mindless, but it was a little bit too cringe for my taste. And then with her, she never learned how to drive stick shift. So she said that she felt trapped. So I guess like your man never bought you, or you couldn't get like an automatic car to drive, you know? Like she knew how to drive, she didn't know how to drive stick shift, and her ex never taught her. So that's what, like, it was just like kind of dumb cuz I'm like cuz she had like her own business, but like she never really like went out and like pursued it, because she was a basically like interior designer, and she's like renovating this house that she's working on in Meadowlark, and that's basically how he meets her and how they fall in love. So that's basically it. Again, not much happened in this, but it was fun. I'll keep these books just for the covers, because honestly I really love the covers of these. But now I am basically halfway through this series, and now I only have 2 books left, which is Lost and Lassoed and Wild and Wrangled. So I'm glad we made some progress in this series, but it's definitely not a great book. I'll tell you that right now. But at least we only have the other 2 left on my TBR this month. I'm probably going to read Lost and Lassoed after I read Sunrise on the Reaping. So that's why I kind of wanted to sandwich the 2 prequels of The Hunger Games in between me reading Lost and Lassoed and Wild and Wrangled. And also I am going to be finishing that series, so I'm still continuing a series and finishing it with the Hunger Games prequels. And then I really do want to read one of the arcs that I have, and I might read that in between a new release coming out and also finishing Sunrise on the Reaping. So I'm not sure if I'm going to read Lost and Lassoed after that, or It's a Love Story. I'll probably end up reading both of them, because then I have a new release coming out on the 13th that I really want to read. So at least I will have finished like 2 or 3 more books that are on my TBR before they come out, or like another new release or whatever. So yeah, that's pretty much it. So like I said, I'm not gonna be able to pick up. Well, I might start the audiobook of The Bullet That Missed right after I finish The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, so I'll probably be listening to the audiobook for a while, and then I'll pick it up on my Kindle. But I actually realize I have a lot of Kindle reads this month, because I have like 3 books that I'm going to be reading from the library, which is The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, Sunrise on the Reaping, and what's the other one? Maybe... and The Bullet That Missed. So I already have 3 Libby loans that I want to read. And then I also have the audiobook of Lost and Lassoed from Libby. And then I'm also going to have 2 ARC reads, which is It's a Love Story and The Love Haters. And then, depending on which new releases I want to buy, I'm mostly going to be purchasing them on Kindle and reading them on my Kindle. So might have like 8 books read on Kindle, which will be like the most that I read on Kindle, but I'm using like my library and, Kindle Unlimited a lot more now, or just like purchasing it on Kindle in general, because like I am just running out of room to read the books that I have, or like to store the books that I have. But also that means that I have to read my physical books as well, which I am going to, but like this month, since I knew so many new releases were coming out, I couldn't really put that many physical books on my TBR unless they were like 2025 releases, like Water Moon, His Face is the Sun, and Wild and Wrangled. They're all 2025 releases still. And then I only have like 3 other ones that came out like not too long ago. I think Firefly Lane is the one that's come out like the longest time ago. I think it came out in like, I don't know, early 2020s or something. I don't even know. Early 2020s, yeah. Or maybe before that. I think it was before that. But anyway, I'm going to go and just shut up and I will let you guys know when I start the audiobook of The Bullet That Missed. I'm probably going to, like I said, start it probably like 2 days from now, and then depending on when we finish the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, maybe we'll just continue that, and then we'll jump into Sunrise on the Reaping. So maybe I will just read The Bullet That Missed after the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. That might be a good idea, and then I can just wrap up this video because I am excited to continue the series. I haven't continued it since January, so it's been like 3 months since I've picked up the next book, so I think I'm kind of in the mood for that. And then I'll do Sunrise on the Reaping, and then I'll probably do the ARC read. So yeah, that's it. Bye. Okay, so hey guys, so I wanted to let you guys know that I started sorry, I'm just so tired because I'm still sick. I'm trying to remember what the fuck I'm saying, so forgive me. So I wanted to let you guys know I started The Bullet That Missed by Richard Osman. I actually started the audiobook of this because I actually borrowed both from the library. You guys, I've been using my e-reader so much, my Kindle, and audiobooks from the Libby app, that I really haven't. I mean, I've still read 2 physical books so far this month, but I only had like another 5 physical books on my TBR this month. But I've been using my Libby app so much to read books, and then I am actually reading a Kindle Unlimited pick right now, but I've just been using my Kindle so much lately. But I will end up still getting through, it might only be 8 physical books this month because a lot of the books that I'm waiting for are new releases that are coming out this month, and since there's so many May new releases, I still wanted to keep up with the series that I'm in the middle of. So anyway, I did start this, but the audiobook is so much fun. I love the narrator of this. She's so freaking funny, and her British accent, just like the way that she says things from certain characters' perspectives and the way that she changes her voice is just brilliant. But she also like keeps it like the same subtlety as she has in her like original voice, but she just changes from like, oh, look at that, and then she's like really like subtle about it, and then she'll like change like the man, and she's like, well, this is very funny, like, you know, that's how she talks, and I love it. I'm eating it up. So basically, like I said, this is their 3rd book in the Thursday Murder Club series, and I can't really tell you guys too much of what these are about because it's honestly really going to spoil the first 2 books. I'm probably just going to read the synopsis for you guys, but I'm on page 115, and so I'm like 30% of the way through. I'm already up to part 2. Because these books do read pretty fast, but I figured like I didn't have to keep on buying these books physically because I really don't need to own them all. But let me show you, so yeah, I have them both on my Libby app. But basically these books are about like a, like nursing home crew of senior citizens that solve murders. And I just eat them up. I think they're so much fun. I really love Richard Osman's writing, and I'm having such a great time with this. It's so fucking funny. So it says, it is an ordinary Thursday and things should finally be returning to normal. Except trouble is never far away where the Thursday Murder Club are concerned. A decade old case. So this is a cold case that they're reopening from 10 years ago. So that's basically what this is based around. And, you know, they question a bunch of suspects, but even though they're not police, they usually figure out
the murder before the police do, but also some of them in the Thursday Murder Club could potentially be involved. So that's what makes them so much fun, like in the murders. So their favorite kind leads them to a local news legend. Can I speak? News legend and a murder with no body and no answers. Then a new foe pays Elizabeth a visit. Her mission, killed or be killed. Suddenly the cold case has become red hot. While Elizabeth wrestles with her conscience and a gun, Joyce, Ron, and Ibrahim chase down the clues with help from old friends and new. But can the gang solve the mystery and save Elizabeth before the murder strikes again? I'm kind of reading it like she does. From an upmarket spa to a prison cell complete with espresso machine to a luxury penthouse high in the sky, this third adventure of the Thursday Murder Club is full of cleverness, intrigue, and irresistible charm that readers have come to expect from Richard Osman's best-selling series. You're welcome. I should be an audiobook narrator. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, it's just so much fun. And like Joyce had a big role in the second book. Ron and Elizabeth are all from the previous book, and again, they had huge roles in the second book. And if you read the series, you'll understand. But it's just like a fun, quirky, cozy kind of murder mystery. So like, but also I really like the way that he like also balances the different characters' POVs and how he gives us some background of like what the characters are going through still and what their perspectives are on the murder and all of that, but still like doesn't lose sight of them solving the murder. So I really like the way that he brings them together, and I haven't read like I said, I haven't read the second book since January, but now since I'm reading this one, a lot of stuff is coming back from the second book. Because the second book was based around like a robbery, and the first book was, you know, I can vaguely remember the first book, and I gave the first book 5 stars, so I'm gonna have to look up a recap of that one, but I probably will change my, well, at the time, I felt like it was a 5 star, all right? I just love this series. I think this one is already going to be like a 4 star at this point. Because again, I feel like, oh, and also, I feel like that this one is just more enjoyable than the second one. The second one got a little bit boring, but it was still fun. If that makes sense. I hate when people say that. I'm like, it was boring, but it was still fun. That doesn't really make that much sense. Like there were certain parts that were boring, but overall, I still had a good time. If that makes sense. I hate when people say that. It's like, yes, it makes sense, but sorry. Anyway, what was I gonna say about the, oh, that there's usually like the only time that these books are from the first person perspective is when like the killer is writing to like a certain character that they are keeping in touch with, and the person that's corresponding with the killer doesn't really know who they are, like doesn't know who the person is that's emailing them. But anyway, but in this one, that's not really happening this time. So I'm actually surprised that the format has changed and it's just all from the third person perspective from each character. Every other chapter it switches to like a different character, like Joyce or Elizabeth or Ron or Ibrahim. So that's interesting because I haven't heard any letters read out yet, which is interesting. Maybe it'll be at the end. Or maybe people didn't really like that. Maybe he changed it, but I really enjoyed it. So anyway, gonna finish up this book and then we'll be able to finish this vlog. I think I'll be able to finish this book probably in a couple days. But my audiobook loan, I think, expires in like 2 days, but I still have the ebook for another like 3 days. So, yeah, I do have the audiobook for 2 days and this one for 4 days. But I might be able to listen to more of the audiobook on Spotify. But I also like am not ready to give the audiobook back, but we'll see. But I'll probably just finish the ebook in like a couple days because I'm in the middle of reading another book right now. I'm actually reading my book club pick right now called Direbound. And it's so good. But also I do really want to finish the Rebel Ranch series as well because since I've filmed this video and I finished the second book as my first book in this video, actually I've also finished the third book as well, which was Lost and Lassoed. I finished that like 2 days ago. So now I only have one more book to finish off the Rebel Ranch series, but I didn't want to include it in this. I'm probably going to include it in like reading new spring romances. I'm just going to include the last book in the Rebel Ranch series in that, which is called Wild and Wrangled. So I'm going to finish that in like 2 days. I'm probably going to like read a lot more of Direbound tomorrow. It's just a really long book. I'm like 140 pages in. So I read quite a bit today. I kept on falling asleep though because since I'm struggling with sickness, like my voice is not 100%. But anyway, but I also kept on falling asleep earlier, but still read like 135 pages today, so that's not bad. But it's like a 580 page book, so that's definitely going to take me a few days to get through. But I think after, like, hopefully I'll get halfway through tomorrow, then I'll probably pick up The Bullet That Missed and Wild and Wrangled and just finish those 2 books and then probably go back to Direbound after I finish A Curse Carved in Bone because that comes out May 13th, which I could technically put in this video because it's the second book in a duology. So that would be finishing series I'm in the middle of, but that's the second book, so I would be finishing the series too. I might just make another video where I finish series I'm in the middle of. Like Wild and Wrangled, the 4th book in the Thursday Murder Club series, and finish off A Curse Carved in the Fate Inked in Blood duology, but I wasn't planning on reading the 4th book in the Thursday Murder Club series until probably next month. Then I also could just get the audiobook of that too. So, but there's just too many new releases coming out. So yeah, that's it. I'm gonna go because my voice is killing me. So bye.
Okay, so hey there guys. So I actually had to return my Libby loan of the audiobook of The Bullet That Missed, but I got 56%. I was about to say 50%, or I don't even know, 56% of the way through the book. Can you fucking speak? I haven't really been sleeping again, so it's great. It's amazing, fantastic. I'm just thriving mentally, like thriving. Not really at all, but yeah, at least, you know, we have books to read, so anyway, so I'm on chapter 146, page 188. And it says, well, actually, I'm 57% of the way through. I almost said 50% again. 57%, Caitlin. Oh my God. So it says I only have 2 hours and 30 minutes left in the book. So I'm just going to finish it today because that worked out kind of perfectly because I was in the middle of listening to this audiobook. I finished a book yesterday. Which actually finished off a series for me. I didn't include it in this, but I did finish the 4th book in the Rebel Ranch series, so I finished Wild and Wrangled, and that turned out to be my favorite book in the whole series, so, yeah. As soon as I started liking the series, that's it. It's done, so, but anyway, so yeah, I'm going to finish this today because actually a new release comes out tomorrow that I'm really, really excited for. The second book in A Fate Inked in Blood comes out in that duology, the Saga of the Unfated duology. It's only a duology, so I'll be finishing the series after I finish that book too. It's called, after I finish book 2. And it's called A Curse Carved in Bone, so by Danielle L. Jensen, so I'm definitely going to be reading that tomorrow. I'm going to try and get the Libby loan of it, but if I can't, we'll see. I might just go pick up the physical book because it's so pretty. But I don't even own, excuse me, I'm still struggling with this stupid cough.
It keeps on lingering, but anyway, let's talk about the book. But I don't even own the first book in the Saga of the Unfated, so I probably won't pick up the physical one. I'll probably just get it on Libby. I also have one Golden Summer on Libby as well, and I'm probably going to read that after I finish Direbound, maybe. But I do only have 3 more books on my TBR then after I finish Direbound, and then after that, I was just going to read new releases the rest of May. So yeah, anyway, so we're in the middle of this book now, and 2 murders just happened, and that's about all I can say, really. But it's just so funny the way that they reenact murder scenes. I could say that. Like, there's this one part where, like, one of the Thursday Murder Club members, like, goes into, like, I forget where they're reenacting it, but when he does do it, like, he's supposed to play the dead body, and he keeps on, like, opening his eyes, and they're like, shut your eyes, you're dead, and he's like, well, how long am I dead for, or something like that. It's so funny. Like, honestly, I'm so excited for when the show comes out, because they are turning the Thursday Murder Club series into a Netflix show. Don't know when. There's actually quite a few Netflix adaptations coming that were originally books, like Quicksilver and Thursday Murder Club, and then Fourth Wing's supposed to be on Amazon. You know, there's so many book adaptations that are supposed to come out later at some point, you know, in the future. But anyway, it's just been a blast reading this book, and again, it reminds me of how funny these books are. Let me just see what happened. Oh, right. They just found out, like, why the bullet missed the hole that it was supposed to shoot somebody through. So that's, like, the whole concept of this book is, why did the bullet miss its target, or miss, like, you know, where it was supposed to hit that person. So that's basically it. Like, the Thursday Murder Club is still, like, figuring out, like, who shot who. And also, like I said, I was right about one of the Thursday Murder Club members possibly being involved in one of these murders. So, and also, disregard what I said about not having a first-person point of view in this book, because there is. It's from Joyce's point of view. Because actually, we just hit one of the chapters where she writes a letter to the killer, and it says I'm and I in it. So, yeah. I don't know why I thought it wasn't in this book. It is. So, sorry, my friend messaged me. Why does my phone not open? So yeah, that's about it. I'm gonna go. Also, I did finish all of the Hunger Games movies at this point. I finished Wild and Wrangled yesterday, and I also watched the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. So yesterday was a success on things that I actually wanted to get finished yesterday, and the movie was good, but they cut out quite a lot from the books, from this book specifically. Even though this book is the longest in the Hunger Games universe, it is like 500 pages. So it was good, but they cut out a lot. So, like, kind of important stuff. Like, but it's fine. But anyway, so I will update you guys when I'm done with this book. And then hopefully, I think I would be able to finish off this series in June. I'm probably not going to finish it in May because, like I said, there's too many new releases coming. But also, I only have one more book, so I'm thinking about I might try. But also, like I said, I am in the middle of Direbound right now, too, and I want to finish that book. But I can just borrow the audiobook of the last book in the Thursday Murder Club series and just finish that via audio. Because, like I said, I'm having such a good time listening to the audiobook.
So I don't know, I might borrow it next week and just finish off the series. So, because I like I said, I already finished the Rebel Ranch series and I finished that off faster than I finished this series because, again, I only have one more book in this series. So I am thinking about it, and then I'm finally going to go back to listening to Powerless because I never finished listening to the audiobook. And I wanted to go back and finish that. You know, so I could refresh my memory and see if there was like certain Easter eggs that she dropped or certain foreshadowing that she did in the first book that connects to the last book, which was Fearless, which I read last month. So yeah, I don't think there's anything else. I feel like this video has been going on for a little while though. Because since I had finished the second book in Rebel Ranch, I have now finished the series already. And since I finished the last book in the Glimmer Falls series, that was like the last week of April. So, I mean, it's only been a couple weeks. So, yeah, that's about it. I'm going to go. Bye. Okay, so hey there, guys. I wanted to let you guys know that I did finish The Bullet That Missed by Richard Osman. I finished it yesterday. I returned it at the library already, so I'm just showing you guys a screenshot from Goodreads. So I finished every book that I needed to read in this video. So we read Swift and Saddled by Lila Sage. We read A Werewolf's Guide to Seducing a Vampire by Sarah Hawley, and we read The Bullet That Missed by Richard Osman. So The Bullet That Missed, I'm going to give it a 4-star. I actually think that I enjoyed it more so than the second book. Just like a little bit more. I felt like this plot was a lot more compelling, and we found out quite a bit about the characters in this one. Also, I felt like the action kind of kept up a lot more in this one, and there were a few twists that were really, really fun and entertaining. I just think he has like the perfect combination of like combining humor with like, you know, a murder mystery, and I'm glad that I got to this book because, like, honestly, I really haven't read too many cozy mysteries this year, pretty much at all. Like, I really have only been keeping up with this series, and that's really the extent of my cozy mystery this year. I mean, I did read Beartown, and technically those books do have a murder mystery plot in them, but they're not really like, I mean, they're amazing, and they're all 6-star reads for me, but they're like devastatingly sad. Like, I'm just glad that I finally got to this book because I think I had this book on my TBR in March and April, and I'm like, I'm finally just going to read it in May. And I actually spent the last 3 hours that I had yesterday just reading the book on Kindle. So, and it was really good. I really, like I said, I can't say much about this series or what happens in the books because honestly, there are like major spoilers for the next book. But it was just such a great time. And they do end up like kind of retiring at the end, I'll say that. And I think like the next plot is hopefully going to take place overseas. That's what I'm thinking. But there was just a whole bunch of stuff that happened that I can't really say. Also, there was another murder that occurred like like 2/3 or almost like 3/4 into the book, and I was like really surprised. I went 2/3 and then 3/4. The math is mathing. Yeah, good job, Caitlin. But the fact that it happened like 75% of the way through, I was like really surprised. I was like, wow. But I read like 45% of the book yesterday just so I could finish it before I went out to see my friend. So anyway, I was supposed to see one of my friends today, but he said he doesn't feel well at all, so I did go out last night, so I think I'm just gonna go to Barnes later and read, because I haven't had a day like that in a while because, like I said, I've been recovering from sickness. I'm still recovering from this stupid cold, so Hopefully I'll be better soon. I did kind of sleep last night, but anyway, so this book was really fun. Really enjoyed it. I was basically like 50% of the way through the audiobook, and then I finished the last 50% just reading it on my Kindle. So I read quite a lot on my Kindle. And yeah, I just wanted to finish it before a new release came out today because A Curse Carved in Bone came out today. I barely started it this morning, so now I can read a good chunk of it today. So I think that's it. There's not really that much I can really say about this book. I'm sorry, but what I can say is that I really like the layered stories of these books, because whoever you think actually did it and who confesses to it, it's never really that person. Like, we find out like that another person involved has like a lot more to reveal than they're actually saying. Like, this murder occurred like 20 years prior to the present day, and there were still things that like nobody knew about because, like I said, the case went cold and then it got reopened. And then there's like so many things that get revealed around like the 75% mark. Oh, there's this really funny part where this was hilarious. I was cracking up. So they like kidnap this guy that they say that he's like a assassin, and he's ordered to kill like one of the Thursday Murder Club people, and they capture him because they figured out like what he literally said it when he came into the room to the woman that, you know, was there. I'm not going to say who. You'll just know when you get up to that part. And he's like, I'm here to murder so and so. And then she promises him that she's not going to drug him, and then guess what? She drugs him anyway. And then he wakes up and like the whole Thursday Murder Club is there, and they're just like negotiating like what they're gonna do with him, but it was in like the funniest way possible. They're like, would you like a spot of tea and some water? And he's like, that would be lovely, thank you. It was just so fucking funny because like they're always like so polite. Like, they're not gonna like torture him or anything. They just tied him up, like bound his wrist behind his back, and that was it. And they're like, yes, can you cooperate? And then he was like, oh, I could do something. And he was trying to like pretend that he was like this secret agent and that nobody knows his name. And then like 2 minutes later they say like his full name and what he does, and it was just, I don't know, it was just really, really funny. So anyway, so yeah, my least favorite book in this video was obviously Swift and Saddled by Lila Sage. That book was just pretty bad. Honestly, that's probably my lowest rated romance this year, but I kind of thought that I wasn't really going to like it anyway. Like, I kind of expected that the book wasn't going to be that good. And surprisingly, my second lowest rated romance this year is Annabelle Monnigan's It's a Love Story. I just could not get down with that book. It doesn't come out until the 27th, but I did get the arc of it. And I will be posting like reading all new spring romances at some point. I'm waiting for one more to come out, and I actually have one on Libby, so I have to read that too. But like I said, I want to read A Curse Carved in Bone today. So I actually was able to borrow the audiobook of A Curse Carved in Bone, which is great because I like hopped on it as soon as it was available. But the ebook you're not able to download to your Kindle, which I don't understand why the library does that with new releases. Like, I had the same thing with Great Big Beautiful Life, and I just ended up having to buy it. But I did have like a couple of dollars of Amazon points, so I just used that, and I think it costed me like $12 instead of $15. Hey, it's better than $15. So anyway, then my second favorite was Richard Osman's The Bullet That Missed. I really do enjoy this series. I think if you like cozy mystery, I think you would really like this series. It's just, like I said, it's a really great mixture of humor and the murder mystery elements. So it's just such a fun time. I really have a good time with this series. And then number one, obviously, was A Werewolf's Guide to Seducing a Vampire by Sarah Hawley. Like I said, I gave it a 4.5. I liked it way more than the second book.
I just really loved Ben's character. He's definitely I just adore him. I think he's my favorite character that she's ever written in this series, and it makes me want to, sorry, my stupid Siri went off. That she's ever written in this series, and it makes me want to go into her fantasy books. There's only two. Like the second one's not even out yet until November, but her fantasy book called Servant of Earth, I believe, came out late last year. So I really want to read that at one point. And then the second book doesn't even come out until like November. I might not read them until like November, but there's like 5 million romances coming out in November. So, and then a romancy just came out today. So yeah, that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please like and subscribe. Follow me on my Instagram at CBW819 and check out my Poshmark at the same handle. I mean, check out my Goodreads. Why do we even say Poshmark anymore? But for anyone that wants to check out my Poshmark, go right ahead. I'll leave my Goodreads linked below, and I hope you guys have a great day, and let me know if you've read any of these series and what you think. I'm really excited for the Thursday Murder Club Netflix series that's supposed to come at some point, but I think at that point I will be all caught up with the books, because like I said, I only have one left, which is called The Last Devil to Die or something like that, I think. That one's like ready to borrow from Libby. I might just get the audiobook though. Because there's not as much of a wait for the fourth book as there was for this one. So that's why I just wanted to make sure I finished this one, because I think today would have been my last day with the Libby loan. So I really wanted to finish it yesterday because, like I said, I really wanted to read A Curse Carved in Bone today. So yeah, that's it. I'm going to go read. And yeah, keep reading. Bye.